Hello, hello. All right, guys, I need to know if you can hear me. And if you can, as you're joining in, let me know. Waiting for my guest to join in. Um, yeah, guys, I don't normally come here on a Friday night, but something there tonight. Like I told you guys, I'm not holding back. No holding back. No holding back. So I know a lot of you are not used to Arlene. Finally, girl. Finally, finally, finally. How are you, girl? How are you? Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, guys, we are doing live tonight. I want to chat with one of my friends. I'm just waiting for him to jump on so we can definitely do this. So, waiting for a little surprise. Um, I mean, a lot of you, I know a lot of you watch him. So it's just a matter of waiting for him to come on. Arlene, can you hear me? I'm using my earpiece, so let me know. Girl, cold. Even though everybody tell me say I must stop it because where I'm at is not cold. There is a snowstorm happening as we speak. And so persons are telling me that this is not a snowstorm, so I am going to keep quiet. As a matter of fact, my guest, when he comes on, he will share what his weather is like. So I'll just keep it quiet for the time being. And so we can really talk about what's going on with the weather. What are some of the things we ought to be doing? Hold on there. I wonder if he sees that I let's let's come back. Andrea, stop laughing at me. Andrea, please stop laughing at me. Andrea says it's not cool. Oh my God. Arlene, what's your weather like there where you are? And while you're at it, Andrea, share what is your weather. And here comes the man of the hour.
Are we already live? Because
We are
I'm
we are
still
live,
trying to set
man.
up my thing.
No
So
problem. Just go ahead, set your thing. I have people laughing at me because I'm trying to tell them that where I'm at, it's cold, but they're saying that it's not cold. They're laughing at me. So I told them when you come on, you will tell us what cold is.
yeah, I'm just gonna
So
jump off and then jump back on. All right, I'll be right back.
yes, no problem, no problem. All right. So while we're at it, do you have your phone? I want to know. I think the last I checked, it was 0 to 1, 0 or 1 degree, but it was saying that it was feeling like -9. And like I said, there's a storm outside, literally a storm outside. So Arlene, it's 22, it's 59 degrees in Atlanta. Okay, Andrea. Um, okay. Um, so, 59-degree warm. What is that now? Hold on. Okay, so we are now zero. We are now at 0 degree outside. Okay, Arlene, it is 22 degrees. All right, so who colder? Who is colder? Oh my God. Listen, guys, this is exciting. I actually set up the cameras earlier on when I really didn't realize that there was a storm going on. And so when I discovered, I got the cameras and I put them up all over. You should see me running up and down trying to capture the weather outside. So I'm actually going to be uploading it when I'm finished. It's just I might just put some music behind it so persons can just see. I captured it from the back porch. So I'll just put that up. Um Arlene, you take over from Andrea. No, no, you're a real joker there now. Arlene, they say, wait, if it's Alaska or the North Pole. Oh my God. Oh Lord Jesus, guys. This is fun. This is absolutely fun. Yes, Demar, I see you got it now.
Yeah, I figured it out.
Listen, Demar, Arlene, that's one of my guests. She asking me where my family in Alaska. So I tell her I said no, the North Pole. But if I'm at the North Pole, where you there by you? Where you there?
In other words, if you're close to the North Pole, I am like at the North Pole, right?
Pole.
So big up, Simone. Thank you for having me on tonight. It's Friday night. It's the weekend. Really, really excited. But anybody who is saying that where you are is cold, tell them to take that back because where I am at, it's now below 50 degrees
My
with the
God.
negative 55 degrees right now. So that's cold. And yes, guys, I can drive to Alaska.
Oh my God. All right. I want to do a little test. Arlene and Andrea, I know you guys are on. Just confirm for me for starters. Are you hearing both myself and Demar? All right. Let me know if you are hearing us. And Demar, if you want to give your people a little, just give them a few seconds to come on in as well.
Mhm.
Right? Okay, great. So that means they can hear you. I see Andrea saying, "Whoa." So yes, 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 guys. Where we are, where Demar is cold. So I was saying where I was cold. I'm gonna keep quiet. And Andrea has been laughing at me from Evelyn that where I'm at it's not cold. I'm gonna chill. All right. So now that we talk about the cold, we are circling now because we're gonna get into some things. And guys, let me tell you. I came out, Demar, let me just share with you. I came out, I think it was New Year's Day. I think it was New Year's or the weekend of New Year's, coming into the new year. Um, God was just dealing with me because I've kind of been stagnant with some things, Demar, and I've also been kind of hiding, for want of a better word. And when I say hiding, is when you have some good news or you have some good things happening in your space, but then everybody else has say, oh, I know good news, or everybody else has something negative to say. So you decide that you're going to keep quiet. And I realized that in doing so, I was doing my followers, I was doing my friends, I was doing my family on YouTube an injustice. And I'll explain what I mean by an injustice. You came out, Demar, when I decided that I was going to pursue a particular journey. You were one of the persons I found. And you were bold about it, and you remain bold about it. And it was as a result of sharing the information that I was able to make some of the decisions that I made. And but what you find is that we are so afraid to tell people what we're doing because we don't want people to know we business, and all of them something and we are hiding. And Jamaica we come from, right? We don't want nobody to know we business and stuff. And the truth is that somebody's waiting on that good news to make a big buzz or to get out of where they're getting out of to elevate, So just introduce yourself, my youth, so people know who we are talking about. Because if they thought uniquely me was great, them need to talk about you. Me just a come.
No, 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 no. Actually, I aspire to be like uniquely me. So, just a good night to everybody who's watching this live right now and who will be watching it afterwards as well. My name is Dems. I'm a Jamaican who migrated to Canada back in 2019. Now that's 5 years ago. I came as an international student, and my wife came as a spousal support. She got an open work permit. So I am living in a small town called Grand Prairie, Alberta, which is northern Alberta, which is next to the North Pole. But anyway, it is Alberta as a province is known to be very cold primarily, but Grand Prairie being northern is like on the cold, colder echelons of the province. Um, shared my journey on YouTube. Name of my channel is Anderson, so all who don't know. We share our journey unfilteredly coming to Canada, what it was like making the decision, and also what has our life been since living in Canada. Now, you said something, Simone, that you want to start sharing your journey so that other persons can, probably learn and benefit from it. And I 100% understand that, and that is what I do. But ultimately, I still think you need to have some level of balance, because the quickest way to kill a dream is to share it with somebody negative, right?
Sure, no.
You want
Mm-hmm.
to just share it with somebody who don't see things from your point of view, because it's not their dream, it's your dream. So sometimes silence matters. Sometimes it's very important to keep silent while working on your goal, whatever those goals may be. So there's nothing in silence. Absolutely not. If anything, I think after everything I've worked out is when you should come on now and share your journey and say this is what I've been through. Because unless you're sharing your experiences while going through it with somebody who's gonna motivate you and encourage you to go and do it, then it really makes no sense. Because what they're gonna do is to discourage you and create doubt and create some form of negative energy around the process that you don't want, right?
Mm-hmm. 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 So true. So true. So true. Um, what motivates you? Because and guys, if you're listening, when we're through, you need to go check out the Andersons. It's D-I. Is there a break? And
No, they,
D is one word. So it's D Anderson. Dianderson. When me tell you, so them are going to be some things over there. Some things. We still get into it. But I mean, what keeps you? What motivates you, Demar? What keep and I've had the privilege of talking to you. And I'm telling you, every time I talk to you or every time I watch your channel, even your podcast that you started, which we'll soon get into, like you had me like this. Like I was, yeah, you had me. I'm motivated. I want to do something. I want to go to that next level. But what motivates you?
okay. What motivates primarily uh multiplicity of things, right? Now primarily we're talking about um starting over our new life in Canada, lifting up ourselves from our homeland Jamaica, that's where we're from, come to a country and start over from scratch. Now, what motivated me primarily, of course, was my daughter Malika, who is autistic. Now, that was what caused us to want to start the Canadian journey in the beginning, because really and truly, growing Malika in Jamaica really scared us. Having a special needs child in Jamaica was just not something that we wanted to do. Um, just because there's just so many ineptness in the society, so many lack of knowledge, ignorance, arrogance, all of those things. So we wanted to give her the best possible life that we thought we could have given her, and that saw us leaving Jamaica. So that's what motivated us to start this Canadian journey. Now, having been in Canada and starting our journey in Canada, we realized that this country has so much to offer. Now, it's a country that has a lot to offer who want it, right? For those who are willing to work for it and willing to do the right in order to get the right results. Now, I always say that moving to Canada was one of the best decisions that I have made. Canada has changed my life. Both um, Malika Jade, who is the reason for all of this, plus personally, self growth. I'm one of 5 banks in Canada. Being in Canada now for just 5 years, I was able to become a manager, senior positions, multiple positions, and this was after trying to get a teller position in Jamaica, and I wasn't good. So because of that, I believe that if I shared my journey, there is another Dems out there somewhere. There's another Dems in Jamaica. There's another Dems somewhere around the world who would want to see what is possible out there, right? And that is why I am motivated to share my own personal story so that somebody else can see that this is possible as well, right? Now, your surrounding, where you grow, where you're born, it don't determine where you end up, right? Because
Hmm. Hmm.
and that is why I share 100%.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Demar, you have with every new beginnings, there are obstacles, there are challenges. Can you remember what you would probably say is it was your worst moment? Within the 5 years, what was, if you can remember, what was your worst moment?
I can remember. Come on, come on now, come on now. You know, say me I know I like an encyclopedia. Everything's stored. Uh, I can 100% remember. No, and that's something that I share to my audience right now. That when you make the journey to transition, the hardest part is gonna be in the initial stage. This beginning period where you come to a new country, where period of unlearning and relearning takes place, it's toughest time. And I found myself in that stage as well because we have given up our comfort zone, quit our job in Jamaica, sell all our assets, um, decided to come over to a new country and start from zero. Now, when you're used to driving everywhere to, and then you come and you're taking the bus to point A and point B, simple things like that. And when you're used to like having your own space to probably catch in with family for a little bit, well, there's so many factors. It causes you to doubt and to wonder if you had made the right decision. You wonder, boy, this really makes sense. That was what we went through. Now, at the time when we migrated to Canada, we had ended up spending all our money in school fee, year fare, all of this. So when we end up landed, we did broke. That's what
Mm.
this. We did broke.
Yes,
We didn't have money,
yes.
right? We were we end up after everything only having 100 Canadian dollars, and that's how we started our journey with
Mm.
$100, and we had to make a lot of sacrifice, right? So that for me was the most challenging period of migrating to Canada after starting our Canadian journey because now you are now in a new country, limited financial resources, and the only thing you have is a job. Because at the time we never see the future. We don't know what is gonna end up. We never have no bank job yet. None of that never going yet. But not at all what you see right now wasn't there. So we weren't sure what the outcome was gonna be. So we were just in the moment, hoping for the best and just keeping positive and just going through. But there were many times when we feel like we got depressed and we felt as if we had made the wrong decision. And that's
Mm.
when persons like yourself come, I'm able to relate. And I'm able to say, listen, short term pain, long term gain. Believe me, short term pain, long
But I have to write that down. Hold on. Short term gain,
no short term
long term pain.
that is
Long
it.
term gain. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, yes. So somebody is listening and say, all right, so you come and you start out and you have $100,
Hmm.
right? How did you navigate now? Right? So you have the $100, you and Nats, and of course Malika with $100. No job, no. Oh, you navigate, my youth.
So before I answer your question about how you navigate, just a little backstory. I've never traveled before. Traveling to Canada was my first time leaving Jamaica, seen inside of an airplane. Guys,
Yeah.
me not
Hold on.
like
Arlene, it's the other way. Short term pain, long term gain. Other way, Arlene. Go and talk to them.
so. A lot of persons would have had some experience of a foreign country, so they would have known what to expect. But I never have none of that. Everything was underground training. I have no idea what a foreign country looked like, what a foreign country system was like. Everything was new. Now, when we landed, um, we had the mindset that we are gonna have to get a job immediately. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just because we know that we never have enough money, right? So at that point in time, we were not picky. We just wanted something to put food on the table. So my wife
Mm-hmm.
she started working as a housekeeper, and I started delivering pizza, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
patch up, pitch patch up, bunks around, whatever, right? Now navigating that was all about mindset, and I tell people all the time that 95% mindset and 5% finance. That's what's going to determine your mind. It's all about having the right mindset because somebody can come with millions of dollars and they still fail because they don't have the right mindset. So what we were blessed with was having the right mindset, right? No, my wife now, she was working two jobs because I was a student and I could have only worked 20 hours at the time. And, stuff like that. And there were times when I felt as if even our relationship was being tested because we are not seeing each other. We're stressed out. If any guy gonna be watching this in the future or watching this right now know anything about their life is don't go broke, brother, because if you want to miserable, just not no money.
Lord Jesus.
So we went through that phase. We went through that phase, but we had a plan.
Yeah.
Had a plan. And we had a why and we had a who, right? So those are very important things to remember in a time of challenges. Remember
Hmm.
why you done in the first place and remember who you made it for. So even though we were going through our hardship at that point in time, every time we get home and we look at Malika, we remember why we did it. Right? So it
Yeah.
caused us to go another day, it caused us to go again. And that was what kept us going throughout that period of time. Right?
Yeah.
And enough shout out to Nuts as well because she she was there. We went through it together, and there's a lot of there's a lot of wives who would have given up. There's a lot of wives who would have thrown the towel and said this is too hard. But she was willing to be a janitor and clean toilet and all of those things while I was a student, and not many people would have done that. So I have to give her a huge shout out for that as well because throughout that period of time, she was the breadwinner. She was the one who was even working three jobs at one point, right? Two housekeeping
Hmm.
jobs, different hotels, and working as a janitor somewhere else. Now that was how we started our journey, and that was in 2019. So it's not like I'm talking about in 2011 and then everything matriculate. No, that was just the other day, right? So I don't want to pre up the conversation, so I'm just stop right there.
No, man, we like this. Listen, every time I watch, every time you bring Nuts on, I tell you the truth, I have great respect for that lady. Great respect. And I want to jump in now because, the matter, my next question was the value of family. But
Yeah,
there's a video you have with something that you guys have achieved. And so we want to move into the achievements. But before we get there, I want you to talk about the value of having a supportive partner who keeps helps to keep the vision because say yes while you are while you are going to school, what what the mission is, but your spouse on the other hand, and guys, if you're just tuning in, we're really talking about the whole matter of migration and settling in, and it may not necessarily be migration too, it might just be moving into a new space, just shifting, pivoting with the family and the challenges that comes with it. So we want to talk about the value of having a spouse or a partner that catches the vision, runs with the vision, even when you kind of just get knocked down, knocked out some of the time.
100%. No, guys, I just want to ask you guys to take a second to smash a like on the live as soon as you come in. It's very important. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are not yet a subscriber. Simone, uniquely me, right? Become a part of the family, right? Now,
Yes.
the importance of family, key, key. And that's like now if you're a Christian audience who's watching this, sorry guys, this that beautiful weather outside, so if you hear me coughing, I apologize.
That's all right, man.
So now if it is that if you have a partner and your partner is not on the same wavelength or page as you are, it's gonna make your journey so much more difficult. And like one person is pulling and one person is pushing, you're not gonna ever get to where you really want to get to in a situation like that. Both persons have to be pulling or both persons have to be pushing. You have to be working towards the same goal, the same aspirations. That is fundamentally key. Now, I always say that if you're with a partner and you have different goals, that's okay. People want different things in life. But you should be able to communicate with each other and say that this is why I'm doing this.
Excuse me.
Let's see.
True word.
Yeah, this is why I'm doing this. And if it is that you guys can understand the mission, you guys should both be working towards it. Now, a lot of persons are in a situation where they want one thing and the other party one thing. In a situation like that, I don't think it's gonna work, right? It's gonna be so much more difficult because especially if one party forces the other person to migrate and say, If you don't come, I go left you, kind of thing, right? And then the person that negative mindset already, it's gonna create a barrier to your success. You want to make
Mhm.
sure that you guys are working towards the same exact goal, same exact mission, and the Bible tells us an equal yoke, right? It's not necessarily to do with just different religion and stuff like that. It has to do with people who want different things, right? You have to be on the same agenda
Page.
in order for it to work. And that is why I think like having the support of family is very important, because even the person who is most motivated, sometimes they're gonna be discouraged. And sometimes the other party is gonna say, come on, remember this is why we're doing it, and pick you up back, and vice versa. But when you don't have that, what are you gonna do? Right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all that question.
That's so true. Now, we don't want to stay upon the doom and gloom because you went through it. Been there, done that. Ride out the storm and stuff. And it's what, 5 years now? So 2019 to 2024.
Yeah.
All right. So my youth, Bossy, tell me all of the good things them were going for you, you know. And for those who don't understand, I mean, all the successes.
I'm not dwelling on the doom and gloom, but I think it's very important to share the journey in detail so that persons can understand that, listen, this is possible for anybody who want it, right? So I'm
Yeah.
gonna doom and gloom a little bit. So guys, remember I told you guys in the beginning that my wife was working 3 jobs and stuff like that. Now we landed in September of 2019. What happened in December of 2019? COVID-19. Nobody expected that. Now my wife got laid off from all her jobs, all three of her
Hey.
jobs, laid off from every single one of them,
Oh
right?
God.
Throughout
Mm-hmm.
that from all our jobs. Luckily, at that point in time, I got my first bank job and I was working as a part-time teller. So,
Mm-hmm.
being essential services, which is a banking field, I was able to work right throughout COVID, and that was what really and truly brought us through. And she would have worked enough hours to start getting EI from the government and stuff like that, but predominantly she wasn't working throughout COVID. So that was a huge setback for us as well. At the
Mm-hmm.
time, I was an international student. So from 2019 to April of 2021, I was a full time student. Now, fast forward. Now, I got my first job as a part time teller, 20 hours a week, because that's what I could have worked as a student. And I did that all the way up until April of 2021. Now, while I was a part time teller, I didn't just I wasn't just performing the duties of a part-time teller. I wanted to learn everything. So at the time, I was learning about everybody rule, everything. I was getting it. So as soon as I was finished school, I was offered a full-time position. At this time, it was a full-time teller. But then I quickly became a senior teller, right? Within
Good.
that month, I became a senior teller because of the knowledge that I got over the period of time, and just the overall experience and stuff like that. So after being a senior teller, I got an opportunity at a different bank to become the manager of the front line. Now, at this point in time, I would have been in Canada probably in 2019. I started in late 2021, so probably 2.5 years. I got that first management position in one of the big five banks in Canada. And over time, we just started recovering from, not working, stuff like that. We're regular people. We don't have no rich uncle or rich auntie for help. And I said, boy, then we are think till weekend or spot. I think till now. So we had a lot of bills that we were trying to clear off and stuff like that, right? So I did that management position for a year, and I got a different opportunity to become a senior financial advisor at another bank. Um,
Nice.
remember, this is somebody who couldn't get a teller job in a Jamaica, right?
Mika, yes.
So this is somebody who couldn't get a teller job in Jamaica. So that job that I was offered then is the same job I'm in right now. I'm still a senior financial advisor, um, only topped by the branch manager in my branch. So when my branch manager is not there, I operate the entire branch. So that's where I am in my career.
Woo! Hold on. Let's just shout a hallelujah for that. Look here. You probably not understand. Me just have a bust a hallelujah for that, my youth. Guys, understand where this young man coming from. Only hear what the man said? He came, he started out with $100, him and him family. Then they lost, them start out with nothing, continue with nothing. Then they got a little something, then they lost the something. To all the way to it's not a little portion of my youth in Jamaica. So guys, because I'm from the banking sector,
Okay.
he is second to the manager because he hear himself when the manager is not there, he relieves. It's not no little post that. So I know you're trying to be modest. That's no little post. Right? The man is, you know, hear the man say he gets to relieve as the branch manager in Canada. Hey, hallelujah. I said, Jesus, go on. Come on. Come on. All right, continue the story. We can't help myself.
Yeah. So that's where I am at in my career as and stuff, but not to overshadow Nuts. So Nuts, as I said, she was laid off from her three jobs throughout COVID, but then she made all those sacrifices throughout COVID. So as soon as COVID was done, she ended up getting a dream job, her dream job, which was always an administrator in an office. So she got that now. She has her own office and all of that. But most importantly, Nats is now in her final semester of college. So she's
Wow.
almost done college. She is gonna be done in April, and that's something that she has always wanted to. So over the period of time, I was able to finish school, and Nats was able to start school, and now she's almost done with school, and she's never been to college, so this is a big deal for her. So she only have 3 more months to go and she's done, right?
Oh
So
my God. You see the value of family. No, I don't mean to cut it. I would go, I'm happy that you're building the platform so we understand how a dream becomes a reality, how a couple, a family working together make a dream become a reality, and how you guys support each other. Listen, I have such great respect for you. You said not to overshadow your wife. You could have come by here and just take over the thing and just talk about da 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 da. You not left out the woman. I salute you, sir. I salute you.
no,
So
that journey, us is both of us on the journey together, and we are working together to just get to the best possible life that we can create for our family, for ourselves, and the best way to do that is to do it together, right? So that's what we looked at. So Nancy's about to finish school. That's where I'm at. She's doing her dream job that she's always wanted to. That's where I'm at in my career. We also started a business. We started a business last year March. The Anderson Settlement Services and Digital Marketing. And you know what? It's been growing. It's been growing and it's doing pretty well as well. So now we have a business as well. But most importantly, we purchased our first house last year.
woo, woo, woo. Come on.
Yeah. So last year we purchased our first house, and I say first because our plan is to own many more. So we
Of
purchased
course.
Canada last year, and yeah, that's where we're at in our life right now.
May just have a pause a minute. And guys, if you're listening, like seriously, this is where all the persons on you need to between hit the like button, send on the roses, send on the hearts, whatever it is, hit the
And
subscribe button.
subscribe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Smash it. Come on, smash it. And if you have not yet gone over to the Andersons, guys, if you're over on Uniquely Me, you definitely need to check out the Andersons. The entire story. I mean, Dems is just giving you a synopsis, but he does not hold back in sharing everything over there. And if you are, of course, thinking about taking on the Canadian dream, guys, listen, and you're looking for a roadmap, you're looking for an online authentic source, the Andersons channel is where you need to be at. But more so, I wanted to. I listened to the conversation between yourself, Demar, and your wife for recapping 2023, right? And the fact too that you started out the podcast, you guys launched the podcast. What are your looking back? What were some of those what you call it now? Some of those opportunities missed that you have now. What were they, if there are any, and how are you now positioning to go at 2024?
Uh, Good question. Very good question. Now, let's talk about the podcast first. Now, the podcast is called Your Views Podcast, and it's really geared towards sharing stories on a more detailed basis. Now, I've always interviewed persons on our platform, and we've done tons of lives where we share person's journey. But here, we're doing more impactful information, more impactful conversation that can benefit immigrants and even non-immigrants who watch the channel as well. So, like, one of the things that we're trying to do now is, like, even tomorrow's episode that we're about to film, we are interviewing a realtor, and the purpose of that is to how can a new immigrant purchase a house in Canada, and we're gonna
Nice.
detail as to how can it happen. What are your, like, step by step? What should you be looking at? What is the process like? So for anybody who wants it, right? So that's one of the things that we're working on right now, and that's why we started the podcast. Also, we want to hear things from a non-immigrant point of view as well. Like, how do Canadians feel about immigrants? There's a lot of Canadians who have mixed emotions, right? We want to talk to them. We want to hear what they think, what they feel, and that is why we call it Your Views Podcast. No judgments, right? It's just a conversation. Now, what are some of the opportunities that I think I missed in 2023? One of the things that I really wanted to do was to start my health journey, in terms of getting in the gym and losing some weight and stuff like that, because I believe that over the course of the time being in Canada, we were working so hard, so consistently, that we haven't been able to really focus on, health.
Yes.
But
Hmm.
very well. So that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to in 2024, to really and truly drill down and focus. And don't neglect, right? So that's one of the things that I'm trying to focus on in 2024. The other thing is, we want to broaden our horizon a little bit more. We haven't done much traveling, so we want to start doing some traveling. Uh, I don't know where we want to go yet, but we want to start doing traveling to kind of expand our horizons a little bit and just seek out, and just be open to any opportunity that may exist. Like, for example, we're currently trying to work with Chef Grand Prix now, so we have some things working on that we are trying to get on a more official basis. And who knows? Probably we move from Grand Prairie in the future as well. That's always something that we have talked about. We have lived in a small town since in Canada. We want to probably experience somewhere else now a little bit, kind of thing. So that's just some of the goals that we are working on. Now, you guys are not gonna be able to see it, but you see that little thing behind me on the door right there. That's
Yeah.
actually our vision board, and it's very important to write down something, to write down your goals, to write down your plans, right? And that is why we have it right on our door right there, so every passer see it. And some of the goals that are on that board, we don't even know how we're gonna get there, but we still write, right? It's very important.
I love it. I love it. We want to wrap up. Um, 2024. I want you to talk to some people. Let me share. Let me share so you can talk to me.
Yeah.
I think I lost sight of my vision initially, right? I think I lost sight. And then with all the pivoting that has taken place, I'm trying to find back my roots and get back out there. I'm trying to it's like you ever pull up a root, a tree, a flower from out of the ground where it was and try to replant it. I remember a couple years ago I had this beautiful plant at the front of the house. So me say beautiful, nice in my youth. Me say me come home the day and say my husband dig up the plant and say I go plant it run at the back of the house. Look here. Let me not let me speak proper. I was not I was not happy because this beautiful plant died. It died because for some strange reason. I don't know if where we took it to replant it. If there wasn't enough soil there, if there wasn't enough nutrients there to ensure that it found back its roots and could flourish again. But that's kind of how, for me, that's kind of how I'm feeling, Demar. And there may be a few persons that are on that's watching right? Or that's going to see this on the repeat there, either on Uniquely Me or you're on the Andersons, and you are feeling the same way. You're feeling like you've been uprooted out of your comfort zone. You gave up your job, you gave up your assets, you left your comfort zone, you left your money, you're broke, and you're wondering, how am I going to navigate 2024? How am I going to go through 2024? The Lord said to me that one of my word is embrace. He said, embrace the season. So I have been embracing the season, and then the next thing I hear the Lord saying to me is that I ought not to be selfish. I need to come back out here. And if a one person come on, I must do what I must do with the one person. As well as I'm supposed to just go search through, pull up back all the stuff that I have and put them out there, because it's sometimes just one. It's just one. The Bible tells us about the man who had 100 sheep, one lost. It talks about the sheep, it talks about the coin. One, yeah, of the 100, one lost. And the word said that he secured the 99, but he diligently went to seek for the one. And the truth is, you just say to yourself, say, I one, make that go on here, man. I, I spill milk. Me not for go try a rush for find that. But how do we find back ourselves? In 2024, how do we find back ourselves in a marriage that you think the marriage now go nowhere? How do we find back ourselves as parents, because the picnic start grow up, him now listen to you, him want do him own thing, and it just seemed like everything is going taking a nosedive. How do we pivot? How do we find back ourselves? How do we find back our roots? Demar, floor is yours, my brother.
Okay, so I'll share something that a previous branch manager of mine shared with me. Um, when I was making the decision to leave the first bank that I worked for in Canada, remember now, I started as a part-time teller. I got offered a full-time position as a teller. Then I became a senior teller. So that bank was actually there for me throughout my initial journey in Canada. Um, are you hearing me?
I'm hearing, I couldn't hear it before.
Yeah. So that bank was actually there for me um through my initial stage in Canada. So when I got offered the manager position at a different bank, it was a challenge to try to actually leave a bank that was actually I mean, like, even throughout school, my schedule was so flexible to the point that I was the one who determined when I went. They were so understanding and patient towards my journey. So leaving them was very tough. But that branch manager said something to me. He said, listen, this right here is your comfort zone. You have been here for 2.5 years now. You know the system, you know everything. But you know what? Growth does not take place in your comfort zone. Growth
Mm-mm.
when you're uncomfortable. So you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's the first thing I would say, right? When you are uncomfortable, Jamaica have a saying for it. When trouble take your picnic shot fit you. It's the same thing it's saying. It is saying that when you become uncomfortable is when you're gonna start to discover skills that you never even know you have. So you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Now, a lot of persons are resistant to change. You talk about the flowers that your husband dig up and bring around at the back. Really and truly, you're used to the flowers being right there in front of at the front of the house. You like look at the flowers and you like sit, right? But
Mm-hmm.
change is necessary. Sometimes change is needed. You've been doing the same thing. You've been going through the same motion. You've been going through the same process. You know the result already. You know where that's gonna get. What you don't know is if you take a risk, where you're gonna end up. And risk is greater than regret, right? So greater than regret. So if you don't take the risk, you're never gonna know where you're gonna end up. But one thing for sure, if you don't take the risk, you're gonna regret it. So risk is greater than regret. So you have to make sure that you are surrounding yourself as well with the right persons who encourage, motivate you, and actually guide you along your journey. Because it's very listen, no man is an island. We need people. That's just the bottom line, but we need the right people. So if you are watching this right now and you're a little bit lost and you're a little bit confused and you don't know where your next journey is or where to go, my advice to you would be to um take a risk. And I'm talking to myself also, because sometimes I find myself in comfortable situations that I am a little bit hesitant to change. But ultimately, we need to take the risk. We need to take the risk, and we need to be positive that it's going to work out, and we need to have an open mind. So definitely, that's what I would say to somebody who's watching this right now. And it doesn't have to be about migrating to Canada. It can be about starting a business. A lot of a lot of persons doing jobs that they don't even love, that they don't even want to do, but they're afraid of losing that paycheck. But they don't know that if they lose that paycheck, they might be able to start the biggest business the world has ever seen. So, in other words, we have to let go, right? We have to let go, and we have to let go and let ourselves, because we know our potential, and we know that when our back is against the wall, we're gonna figure it, we're gonna make it happen, we're gonna make it work. So we have to that mindset. We have to keep that mindset over everything, that things are gonna work out, right? Now, I know I'm all over the place, but it comes down back to the same thing. Comes down back to just make sure that you are open to change. You are. It's okay to be uncomfortable. Be a risk taker. If you don't take any risk, then you're gonna end up. And don't settle. Don't
Mhm.
settle. Don't believe that is where you are meant to be. If it is that you're in a situation that you don't feel comfortable, we are meant to be happy. We are meant to be um happy with our lives, right? So if you're in a situation and you don't feel happy with your life, don't settle. Don't resort to saying that, hey, I've been here for 10 years now. What am I going to do next? Don't say, I've been in Jamaica all my life. Why am I going to go to a new country? Don't settle. And
Mhm.
in terms of you being more bold and being more sharing and stuff like that, 100% go for it and do it. And if you want to bring me on every week, I'm available, right? Definitely. No, if it's even one person, and that is why I started my channel. So I can share my journey so that persons can see that regular people can migrate to. I never have me never nobody guys, listen, me never have nobody at Canada. Me never know how me that me no know none of them things there. Me not have no rich auntie, me not a rich uncle, me not rich. I grew up in one of the most communities in Jamaica, right? Where I'm from, you go join gang or you go join something. That's where I grew up. So ultimately speaking, I can do it. You can do it too. And that was my idea of starting the channel. See that it's possible, right? And do the same thing as well. There's somebody your story is gonna resonate with. There's somebody who is waiting to say that, hey, if someone can do that too, I can do that too. And that's why even when I check my emails and I check my Instagram and I check YouTube, I see daily. Thank you. Those are the comments that I appreciate. The ones that says that you made me feel like I can do it. I know I am in Canada. And then I say yes, 100%. Because in truth and in fact, you just need somebody to tell you can do it sometime. Just somebody to worst can happen is a fail. That's the worst that can. And if you don't really feel it, either win or you learn. That's what it is, right? So definitely. That's what I would say.
Awesome, awesome. Demar, let me tell you something. Me could have sit down here and chat to you the whole night, my youth, because you always leave me empowered. That's the truth. When we talk, I'm left empowered. And like I said, before we connected like this, it was just me watching your channel and I felt like I could do this. I felt like here was somebody being authentic. I can, if he could do it, then I can do it. When I look at your wife, I said, boy, if she can be such a pillar of support to her husband, then I too can be a pillar of support to my husband. She may not, a lot of persons will see her and say, oh, she don't talk a lot, she laugh a lot more than she talk. But let me tell you something, that woman, I realize you have a wise wife, a wise woman, a strong woman as well. And guys, if you want to know, she little, she
And
little compared to
what about you talk enough as well? What about your food?
I hope when you're done, she thump you for that one. Oh, Lord. But the support. And I mean, there are persons looking for you. I know you said you started your business. I want you to tell us a little about your channels, where persons can find you, what are the services that you're offering, right? And how can we contribute? Also, how can I be of support to what you are doing?
Okay, so the name of my business is the Andersons Digital Marketing and Settlement Services. The name of our channel is the Andersons. We're on TikTok, the Andersons, Instagram, the Andersons, Facebook, the Andersons. Now, our business really stem from a need. We we found ourselves uh, helping people in such a way that it really and truly took so much of our time that we decided that we just wanted to formalize it a little as we were engulfed with helping person to do their letter of explanation for companies. Um, just talking to people on a daily basis sometimes that got overwhelming. So as a way of structure, we started business. We don't offer immigration consultations because we're not immigration consultants. But what we do assistance with stuff, explanations if you're applying for a study permit. If you need somebody to guide you along the process, if you just need that person who's been through it to help you, we do that part. And one-on-one coaching, career coaching. If you're coming and you need help with your Canadian resume, if you need somebody to help you find your first job, help with your interview tips and stuff like that, you can definitely book consultation for those. About in the area that we do that we live, we do settlement services for persons who are moving to Grand Prairie, Alberta. We do settlement services where we pick them up from the airport, apartments. We help them sort out all the documentation. We take them to do their grocery shopping, get furniture, all those things that a parent would need. We definitely do all of those services. And we do digital marketing. So if you're a company and you need someone to revamp social media and stuff like that, we do that as well.
Awesome, 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 awesome. So, guys, if you are listening, then I'm sure you heard it for yourself. You're coming over. You are looking, especially if you're going over into the Alberta area. You don't need to worry. Believe me, I said to myself, if that was the area I was going, I knew I had nothing to worry about because we would have been well taken care of.
Well,
So so if you are going that side, and then the Andersons are the ones for you. And guys, I will say to you, I know Demar is not stressed, but let me tell you, see that resume thing, that interview thing, for this side of the world in terms of Canada, it's no joke. And so I would say to you, take advantage of these services that are being provided. And guys, don't look at it so well, you can find it on the internet, because that's the next thing. When we come back, you see, Demar, we want to talk about these things where people don't want to spend money, right? We don't want to invest. I don't want to call it. I want to talk about the investing side of things. And so we're going to set a date, because I see you're also doing some what I call money moves or money talk. And we want to talk about some of those things so that newcomers in particular can understand how to survive in this place. Because you see, the thing is, things are different in Jamaica. We don't have to file taxes, etc. there, because once you work, your job takes it and does the filing. But here, you have to take care of your taxes. But not only that, it's not just, but there are benefits that we can be reaping as a result. And so we are going to set another session very
yeah,
soon for the coming week, so that we can look at how to deal with the matter of our taxes, etc., and survival, right? Survival and settlement.
I'd love to talk about that because that's my day job as well. As I said, financial advisor. But I do have that as well on my channel. I call it Finance for Immigrants, where I talk about finance on a holistic page for a new immigrant. What are the accounts that you need to be opening? How do you build your credit? Very important. Very, very, very important. And just generally, as you said, taxes and the benefits and stuff like that. So 100% worth it, and I am there. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, man of God, I just want to thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming on. I mean, I want to reach out to you. Now, yesterday, I said, look here, you want to come jump on a live now with me?
Always ready.
But hey, you know how we roll, right, my youth? Say camera and you just call my name.
Yeah, man. Always ready. And big up to everybody supporting uniquely me as well. Shout out to all of you guys. Thank you for supporting Simone. You guys are very important, and yeah, just keep supporting. And as I said, if you haven't hit that like button already, just hit it. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And I know say Simone keep me off. I don't know why she keep me off so quick, but it's my work with the flow. Yeah, that's it.
No, no, no. Look here, me never, you see, because me know see the North Pole. I didn't know if you want to go and cuddle up. So see, hey, man, you make me talk. All right, make me jump on and talk about the banking business, not the banking, but you want me talk?
Make it up, man.
All right, so go into it now. Talk. All right, so we are newcomers, and the matter of how do we want to understand how the landscape work as it relates to what do you do first. So you land, and like you said, there are a number of persons, Demar, who it is their them never go on the plane before. And there's another couple I think you had assisted. I think from Snow to something another.
Yeah, Rennie and Khalid.
Right. It was your first time, I think, getting on the plane. And so there are a number of persons. You come off the plane, you come through immigration, and you stand up out the door.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, what do I do next? Like,
Yeah,
seriously, right? Or while, because let me tell you, you see the first couple of days coming up when you must get to the flight, you're excited, you're excited till you can't excited no more. And then, but then at the same time, you're watching, if you're like me, you're doing a lot of research.
yeah,
And there's something like I will tell you that I found like no sort of, may not have no regrets, but I said, I wish I was on the ground to have known. So you're watching and persons are telling you don't live here, so don't live there, so da 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 da. And so as a result, you end up sometime going somewhere that might be a little more expensive than you had planned in a sense, because everybody have an opinion on the thing. And
yeah,
it's not until you come on the ground and not only that, but a lot of persons said to us that listen, where you going to freeze box, where you going to cold box, where you going to fridge and stuff. And I come down and like, can I tell you something? I never even realized that the second day, it was -6. We never know that because guess what? We just had so much things to do and
yes.
stuff. So I want you to just take us through now your land or you're about to land, how you start out, what comes next. Walk me through. This is your stage.
Okay. So if you're a person who is migrating to Canada and you don't, or if you even do have family members around you, I would encourage everybody to do exactly what Simone said, which is your research. But you have to do your research with prudence and with intention because everybody has an opinion. And if you watch 10 videos, you're going to get 10 different opinions and it's going to cause you to be more confused than before when you started. Also, what I would also like to say to persons that if you have family members and friends, it's very important to listen to them, but it's very important to understand that they probably have been here for a while and they don't really understand what it is like for a new immigrant anymore. So you still have to sometimes do your own research. And sometimes as well, you have some family members who don't want you, the new immigrant, to pass them out as well. So you have to bear in mind that
Mhm.
of the matter. Now, one of the things that you want to make sure that is arranged is accommodation. Now, if it is that you don't have somebody to stay with, you want to make sure as possible you have sorted out your accommodations before you land. Now, or you do that land, I have suggestions that I always say, listen, you can find somebody to help you on the ground. Call them, call them rental property, call them, pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, it's yourself that and that. Call them, and they will walk you through the steps. Now, if you're not fortunate to find long-term accommodation, then you probably forget at Airbnb. But make sure that you know where you're going when you land. You're not waiting until you land and then you try to figure it out. You know exactly where you're going and then you try to figure it out as you go. Then you have landed, you have set. One of the first things that you have to do is to sort out your SIN number. Now, your SIN number, your SIN number is equivalent of a TRN in Canada. If you're from Jamaica, that is. If you're from somewhere else, it's really your tax registry tax information number. So it's called your SIN number that gives you legal status in Canada. So you can pretty much work. You can do a number of things with your SIN number. Now, after you have your SIN number, the other thing that I ask the first person is to get a phone number. Now you want to get a phone number, and it's very easy to get a phone number by just going into any one of the stores, because Canada is a country that operates on credit. As long as you have your SIN number, then you can get a plan on credit. Which company totally, I don't have a favorite. It's really depending on what you prefer to do. Now you have had your SIN number, you have had your phone number. The next thing you're gonna need is a bank account. Now in Jamaica, we call your day-to-day account savings account, but in Canada, your day-to-day account is called account, right? Your account is what you use every day. Your purchases, that's your account. So you're gonna need a account. Now, do I recommend any bank? I would never do that because all the banks are really the same when it comes to newcomers. You get free banking for a year in most banks. If you're a student or if you're a worker, you don't have to think about any banking fees for a year. Now, that bank account is got your first bank account in Canada. You're gonna get your debit card. Now you have your phone number, your bank account. If you come with cash, pop it in, you're good to go. Now, if it is that you come as an international student, when you're applying for your checking account, you want to apply for a credit card the same time. Now, as an international student, you have that job in order to apply for a credit card because most banks have credit tailored to international students. All they would need to see is just your study permit, right? Now, you're from a country like Jamaica that frowns upon credit because we buy everything cash in a Jamaica, you're gonna be like, me don't want a credit card. I don't want a credit card. But it's very important to get a credit card as soon as you can because in Canada, no credit is just as bad as bad credit. So you want to start building that credit history because it's a country that revolves around credit and everything from finding an apartment to finding the right job to get in a car, to get in a house, depend on your credit score. So you want to start building that score. Now, if you're not an international student and you are a worker, as soon as you get your first pay slip, you can apply for a credit card. Apply for a credit card as soon as you can, right? Now, I did a video where I spoke about the best practices with using your first credit card
Yeah,
to
yeah,
make.
yeah. What happened a while ago? Oh, hold on. What happened?
Are we good?
Hold on. It's my.
When these things tripping, you see? Let me see if I can
That's good.
disconnect it.
Yeah, technology
Of
is great work.
yeah, my me and technology. All right, good. Go.
Yeah, yeah. I did a video where I spoke about best practices of credit card and how to use it to build your credit. Now, very important to remember that your credit card is a credit card and it's not your money. So use it with wisdom and use it with prudence because just as you can use it to build your credit, you can use it to ruin your credit. Once
Yeah.
you have bad credit, it's very hard to come out of that and go into the good credit score. So you want to make sure that you are, if you need somebody to talk to, what about best practice on the credit card, do it. All right. And if you find nobody, just go watch the underscore. We have we have videos where we talk about best practice of using a credit to build your credit. Now, that aside, you need to find the job. Now, for your first job, it doesn't matter. That's my outlook. Now you have
So
to
let me ask you something, Demar. I really want to ask you about this because there's a school of thought that is some persons are saying if you come, you used to be a manager back home or you're in a management position or you're at a senior role.
yeah.
Come and look for a senior role, right? Because you can find it. But then there's also the school of thought that said, listen, the people don't know you and you also don't know the landscape. So you need to come and kind of get your foot wet, get in to learn the landscape, learn the policies, etc., etc. But then there's the third school of thought that says everything is teachable or coachable or that kind of thing you can learn. What do we do? Because on a serious note, where do you really start? You're coming from your big management position to you come, the first one you see is I see winners advertising, you see Dollarama advertising, you see Walmart advertising for a clerk. What do you do on a serious note? So as you're navigating that question, take those into consideration.
Okay, so what do you do in that situation? I fully understand, right? Now, is it possible for you to get a manager's position being that you are a manager from 100%? Absolutely. It is possible, right? But the thing is not always possible. And the fact that it's not always possible, that's why you need to have an open mind for that. You might not be able to get that manager position immediately, but that's what you want. So you're not going to stop looking for it. So if you even have to go and work out, right? Even while you're at Winners working first week, you just want to make sure that that Canadian paycheck is coming in because your expenses are in Canadian dollars. But while you're
Mhm.
still looking for that management job, it's not that you're settling to be at Walmart or you're not settling to be at Winners, but you're giving yourself Canadian experience and at the same time, you're looking for what you want. That's how you navigate that, right? Now, you might get it on the first try, but you might not get it on the first try. What do you do if you get it on the first try? Are you gonna just give up and say that I tried, I didn't get it? No, you're gonna keep trying, but while you're trying, you need to eat. You have your rent to pay, you have your bills to pay, you have your kids to send to school, right? So that is why you're just gonna do something while you get to where you want to get to, right? You're not gonna do this long term because, and we spoke about settling. You're not gonna settle in doing that. You're gonna look for what you want. Now, a lot of it depends on the field that you're in. Some fields requires a license. Everything in Canada, if you're even doing nails, you need to get certification. You need to get a license, right? There's a license. There's a license like different parts of. You need mutual funds here. You need your RFI license there. You need your insurance license there. Up. So unless you're coming in at an entry level, right? You're not in talking about the bank price. Unless you're coming in at an entry level, then what you'd have to do on your own timing is to go and get those certifications to give yourself qualified. And what do you do at that time, right? So what I always suggest that depends on if you're open to going in as an entry level because get in is very easy to grow. See, I started as a part just 2019, right? So it's very easy to grow. It's very easy to grow. So before you know it, one step backward, that one step backwards is gonna cause you a 10 step forward. And
Mhm.
as you know it, you're gonna surpass where you were in your home country. So where you were, like if you would come, okay, then if I was still in Jamaica 5 years, this is where I would be. But even though when you just come, you take a step back, the same 5 years, look at yourself and you'll be like, oh, I'm way ahead of where I thought I would still take. I thought that's what it would be. So I would encourage anybody to just do that. Now, uh, if you're skilled, if you're experienced, specific, you can absolutely find in that field. I'm not saying that everybody who comes to Canada has to start from zero, from basic, from no. That's not what. What I'm saying is you have to be open minded because you might not be able to find that dream job immediately. So sometimes you just need to put food on the table. But while food is on the table, you're still looking for that
Like
Canada.
it. Like
Yeah.
it, like it. I love it. So you walk us through. We need to find the accommodation. That first week, I would say you're taking care of your SIM number. You're taking care of your phone. You're taking care of your bank account, and you hit the ground if it's for job. Then you start looking for job. If it's school, then you know you're doing school. But
Yeah.
is there a way? And where can we begin to start looking for jobs? And I would say, and I'm sure you would agree with me, that we don't have to wait till we come here to start looking, right?
No,
Um, Right. But where are some of those places, Demar, that we can start looking for jobs? Do we print our resume and go start walking around, dropping them off at every store, every place we see? Do we go on every construction site we see about the place to ask them if they have a job? Where do we start?
no, that's a very good question. No, I can share my experience and what I would. This is just my opinion, right? Now, everybody would have their own strategy. Now, you have Indeed.ca, which is one of the job search platform in Canada. It's called Indeed, or the Canadian Job Bank. Now, those are the two that I'll recommend that a new immigrant should live on. That you're looking at that daily, because it's updated daily for those job opportunities within the city that they go to. Now, you're doing that instead of going on Instagram and Facebook, you're on Indeed, you're on Job Bank daily. Now, you're not gonna only resort to sending out those applications because you know why? Everybody else is doing that. You need a job. You need a job right now. You're new, right?
Mhm.
What you have to do now, you have to be more aggressive in finding that job. So what I say is 100% print resumes, 100% visit these organizations, any organization, including a bank, including wherever it is that you see yourself working. And the hiring managers value value those persons more. So even if you go in with your resume, you say, "Hey, my name is Simone Stewart. I'm here to drop off my resume. I'm new here. I'm here in a work permit, and you know what? I worked in a bank back home, and I think I'd be a great fit to your organization. Do you have a couple of minutes to speak with me?"
I
But
love that. I
you're
love
not
that.
when you dress up and you put yourself together. So when they see you, they must see the employee, them are go higher, right?
Yes,
All they
yes.
need, they just need them ears. I said, listen, I don't know if you have any openings right now, but if you do, here's my resume, and I'd love to be interviewed for whatever openings you have.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
All the
So
results.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So guys, I hope you're really getting some substance from this. And this, I'm going to find a way to download this after I've uploaded it, Demar, and see if I can cut it up because this has some. You're dropping some real good nuggets here, and this information is going to go a long way. So we in the system a bit, and you find a little job, you're navigating the space. But now they're children for school. Let's talk about that because a lot of persons are afraid. I have two friends now in particular that are saying they want to make the move, but everybody keeps telling them that daycare is expensive. They have young children, and so they're as a matter of fact, it's two things. There's the matter of the children, but then there's the settlement funds issue. We want to talk about the settlement funds and go back to the children. Let's talk about the settlement funds. And we know that there it's all over YouTube or all over the Google per se that the fees, the government is increasing the fees, especially if you're coming via school, etc. So let's talk about that a little bit, Damar.
So I can see both sides of the coin. I can see why it was increased, and I can see as a prospective international student how it might seem like the world is against you. I can understand. Now, the truth of the matter is, it's very expensive to Canada today, right? In 2019, it was a lot more affordable, and that's just because the amount of immigrants that comes, the COVID, so many different factors. But that there is a densely or probably not widespread circulation of the population in Canada. One is saturated in specific places. Those places cause more expensive. Like for example, in Toronto, in Vancouver, I know even in Calgary, Halifax, Nova Scotia. So these places rental costs has excessively increased. And for a new parent to find a suitable or affordable accommodation is now becoming increasingly difficult. So international students, for example, are living in basement apartments with 6 8 other persons who they don't know. They're sharing bed. They're having bed on shift. All sleep in the day, in the night, kind of stuff like that. So the government sees that and they are saying, no, this is not right. We want to make sure that international students, when they come here, they get the experience that they deserve. They get the experience that they thought that they're coming for. You don't want to
Mm.
come realize that you're in a worse position than in your own country, which is what's been happening over the past years, 2 years or so. So the
Mm-hmm.
government increased the government funds amount to really and truly to really and truly curve the inflation or the cost of living that's happening in different parts of Canada. Because if a student come with $20,000, then they can afford to pay their rent for a period of time if they don't get a job, right? So that's
Mm-hmm.
so even though I know that persons are gonna find a way around it, but you need to settle. Now, my advice to any prospective immigrants is please look at my face and read my lips. Do not go to Toronto. Do not go to Vancouver. I I am begging. That's literal.
Hey, hey, hey.
That's literally the most expensive place you can go to right now. For example, I am in Grand Prairie, Alberta. You can get a one bedroom for probably $1,000. In Toronto or in Vancouver, you're looking at over $2,000 a month, right? So there's a great disparity in cost of living depending on where you go. Now, a lot of persons choose to go to different places because one, they have family, or two, they might. I always hear these names in my head, so I want to go there because it's closer. Whatever reason they tell themselves. So, but bottom line is, choose where you go very wisely. If you're an international student, do not go somewhere just because it seems to offer the cheapest. Look on the cost of living. Look on the job availability. Look on all of the factors, right? That will definitely aid your transition. Now let's talk about childcare again. Depending on where you're at, childcare can be more expensive or least expensive. Like for example, in Alberta, right? In Alberta, parents get childcare subsidy as well. So if you're an international student or a worker, you get childcare subsidy in Alberta, even as a temporary and new immigrant. Now that was something that changed years ago or last year. I don't quite remember. Well, it was changed in 2022 because prior to that, only residents and citizens were able to get childcare subsidy. But now in Alberta, you can get childcare subsidy for residents. Now, I'm not sure provinces that does that, but it simply means that, for example, my own experience, my daughter go to day or day home full time, right? I drop her off 7:45, 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and I picked her up when we're done work. And if without childcare subsidy, that would have cost us $700 a month. Without childcare subsidy, that would have cost us $700 a month per child. With
Wow.
child subsidy, that only cost us $50.
Wow. I'm spelling wow backwards. Wow.
So that's and but that is in Alberta. Now, probably the starting cost that $700 is probably cheaper in another province. I don't know. And probably there's some other provinces that does childcare subsidy even for temporary residents. But to be honest, I'm not quite sure. I'm sure about Alberta at the time. Alberta was the only province that did it for temporary, right? You know, I'm in Alberta and I'm always advocating for Alberta because it's the number one province in Canada, by the way. But that's just one of the benefits of living in Alberta, right?
Yeah.
But even in Saskatchewan, I know that there is a chronic childcare provider short. It's hard to get childcare in like different provinces, but we haven't really experienced that here where we're at. So it all depends on where you. Everything comes back to where you go, right? And that's one of the things that you search when you're making a decision where to go.
I'm so happy you went there, Lemar. And as I listen to you, so not impossible.
You know,
Absolutely nothing is impossible. No, I kid you not. I didn't know what you just shared. But just the thought that, as I said, I have two friends in particular that has been resistant to making the change. One of them in particular, I strongly believe that her child would benefit from what your daughter is benefiting from in terms of, the special needs and stuff.
Yeah,
And but again, the thought that I don't have the money, it's going to be hard and can't find childcare and and that kind of thing, not realizing that there are benefits that can be taken advantage of. Now, Tamara, where do we find information? Because not everybody going to find your channel, not everybody's on YouTube. That's the truth. But where can persons really do find information? Because one of the all right, I love research.
yeah.
I'm not trained in the area, but I love research. Right? I believe that while I'm listening, while I might come on and I hear something, I love to go to source. Where is the source where we can find information?
Now it's 2024. Everything is online. I
True,
kid you.
true.
We find what we want to find. If we're looking for it, we will find it. I kid you not. Now, if you want to find out about child subsidy, for example, in Canada, just put in Google which province offers childcare subsidy for temporary residents. I guarantee you the answer is going to come up. Everything is there. Now, each province has their own website. Like you can go on the government of Alberta website, you can go on the government of Ontario website, British Columbia, whatever the case may be. You find what you want to find. You can look for what you want to look for. Now, let's talk to your friend. Hopefully, she's watching.
Mm-hmm.
If it's important to you, you'll find a way. If it's not, you'll find an excuse. Simple,
Mm,
simple. If it's
mm.
important, you'll find a way. If it's not, you'll find an excuse.
Excuse. Wow. Dynamite.
That's it. That's all I.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's not childcare, something else. It's gonna be. It's gonna be the weather. Oh, it's gonna be something else, right?
True. 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 True.
But everybody has their own life. You cannot. It's almost like when this life is over and you're going through the gate. I alone never go through it, nobody not gonna hold their hand. For example,
Mm-hmm.
we all have our own journey, and sometimes we want to take friends and family and persons close to us on the same journey that we're on. But the truth and in fact, they have to want it.
Mm.
You cannot convince somebody, convince somebody to want something. They have
Yeah.
to want it. They have to have their reason for wanting it.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I used to. You can go ahead.
Go ahead. Finish what you were going. You used to do what? Tell me.
I used to try to encourage persons to do the same thing that I did. Come to Canada, gonna work out for you. And I usually try to convince them. And then why am I doing that? Everybody has their own life to live, and everybody has their own. But it's because I know the value that I have experienced, and because you're happy and that things is working out, you want the same for the people you love and the persons around you as well. But they have to want it.
True.
They have,
True. So true. You're so true.
but
Because let me tell you, you still like me. When me start to try convince people, because when I find something good, I want to share it, right? I believe good news must be shared. And I will go all out. Like somebody called me today, I sent her something and she said, she's afraid to open it and stuff. I said, listen, my girl, you know me already. I forgot. Look here, if I send you something, that's after I've already gone through it, examined it, did my research. I'm sure so the thing safe or that it is true.
nobody question me. Nobody say, "You sure? You sure? You sure? Legit? You sure?"
Exactly, that's true. So, Demar, we haven't talked about the various pathways, right? We are not immigration consultants, but
Yeah.
as you said, it is all out there. But we still want to, because a number of persons have been asking, where can we what are some of the pathways, because in their heads, well, not in their heads, but what is usually thrown out there is school, 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 and we know that there are several other options that is there that persons can migrate. And what I've noticed is that it's not just Canada now. You can go US, you can go Australia, you can go, listen, it's numerous. But let's talk about Canada in particular. What are some of the, hey, your chat, me not cut you. I just got a notification of your video coming out, or your video that is out, the coldest day in That's just to tell you guys that I'm so in tune with the Andersons. But yes, tell us, if you can just reiterate or just name out, highlight some of the pathways that persons can take advantage of without thinking that, hey, I have to come school, I mean, I have the money. Um, there are other ways. What are some of the other ways?
Okay, so I'll give the top five ways that I think. Now, I mentioned that we're not consultants. This is just public information that's out there. Now, what,
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to an immigration consultant a months ago, and throughout that conversation, we were actually going through it, and there's over 300 different ways you can migrate to Canada.
Wow.
Over 300 different ways. Now, that's the first thing. Now, a lot of persons migrate to Canada as a overwhelming, challenging, difficult process, right? They see a
Mm-hmm.
work and be like, boy, I don't know if we can do that. Me, I forgot have that. You know, but in truth and in fact, it's a lot more simple than you thought. It's
Mm-hmm.
a lot simpler. I not as invest sometimes in research, and you are going through what you research, and you are just following up and surrounding yourself with the right people. You will migrate to Canada. Now, I came as an international student. Now, I am always coming as a student because I think coming as a student gives you the best platform to become a permanent resident and to become a citizen. Also, while you're doing it, you're getting that Canadian quality. So I am for that, but it's expensive, and everybody have money. So that's okay. So it's not everybody's gonna be able to come as an international student, right? But I regard being an intern as the number one part of migrate to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
That being what a lot of persons don't know or fail to realize is that Canada has 9 provinces or 10 provinces, one of them, and and each of these provinces and territories are competing for talent, are competing immigration. So what these provinces have is called provincial nomination programs. Each of these provinces has different ways that you can migrate to provinces outside of the federal stream. And by the federal stream, that's federal Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Federal Canada, where you come student or express entry or one of those. That's why it's called federal stream. But each province have its own immigration stream that you can wiggle away in.
I like it.
It's true. Alberta, for example, you have the rural um rural renewal stream that we have spoken about. If you get a job offer from a company within a designated community, you can use that as your pathway to migrate. You have the rural um, entrepreneurial stream. If you want to come to Alberta and start business, as long as you have enough money, that's a stream. You have you get what I mean? There's so
Yes.
many mini streams within the provinces. You have the
Mm-hmm.
tech you have the tech stream in Alberta. You have the STEM stream, the science, technology, engineering, and math in BC. If you get a job offer within one of those fields, if you're in technology and technology is hard, if you're a programmer, networker, even a call center, sir, you are able to apply and get a job and come. You have the Atlantic provinces, is the New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Islands. They have the Atlantic migration program. It was the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program, but now it's the Atlantic Immigration Program, where once you get a job offer, from a designated community, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. It's your pathway. So there's different ways outside of the federal way. And all of this information is right at your fingertip. If you put, for example, Alberta, Alberta.ca, it takes you to the Alberta website and you see all the immigration pathways that you can come to Alberta. You can do the same thing in Saskatchewan. You can do the same thing for B. You can do the same thing for Ontario. In Ontario, you have rural and not rural,
Mm-hmm.
which is similar to the rural stream, which as long as you get a job offer within a designated community, and this is for foreign nationals, this is for persons who not even in Canada. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
there's many different ways to migrate to Canada. Don't limit yourself to just being a. If you have the money, fantastic. Go for it. Do it. It works. But if you don't have the money, look look into one of these, and I can guarantee if you are aggressive enough, if you are aggressive enough, it will pay off.
Yeah.
Definitely. And if all else fails, marriage money.
Hey, me tell you, say, you know, easy. I true. But what we're saying is that that is a stream as well. That's a way as well,
That is,
right?
you have
Yeah.
another that's called a lonely Canadian. It's called a
Really?
lonely Canadian. So if there's a Canadian who's lonely and you can offer some form of companionship, no, I'm honest. It's called the lonely Canadian. You can research it as well, right? That can be your pathway as well. Look it up, guys. There's many different ways to migrate. And it's not as challenging as you thought. It's a lot easier than I kid you not.
So, again, we're coming back. And, when I thought about doing, it's a series I want to do at least for as long as I can do it. I kind of want to break the ice, um, pull back the curtains on the things that we're thinking are impossible, the things
Yes.
that we're saying it's hard. I've come to discover not no hard. As I went, especially as I climbed the corporate ladder, Demar, I used to think that, oh my God, I can't work at head office. I can't work in the senior roles.
Yeah.
They are so, let me tell you, the best it got for me was I was sitting on one of our executive floors, and there was this young lady that she was at our training center. Very good. And I tell you, very good. May I say, because everything, for training school, everything we go there for training.
Yeah.
And so she got a promotion into another area. But first to start with my image. My imagery of this lady is that, listen, she knows everything. And so no matter where she go for go work, when I for work, she will fit in nicely. I saw her being trained for this new post, and I said, okay, everything you go into, you will be trained for it. Because again, nobody's expecting to know this stuff. It's
Nobody
their business.
nobody born knowing anything. We all learn it.
Exactly. Exactly. So it is being really, it's having the mindset for real. I mean, like you said it earlier, it's 95% mindset and 5% finance. Having that mindset and telling ourselves, and not telling ourselves, saying, listen, I'm going to jump. I'm going to take that leap because we can't take the leap. I
Gonna
can't
jump.
take the leap. Oh my God. You're,
If you don't jump, how you gonna know if you can fly or not? You have to jump.
or you won't know what's below because, listen, as you say, you might could discover you have wings, or
Exactly.
you may discover that there's something beneath there that can catch you. Now let's talk the matter of taxation. Very important, because one of the things is that you keep hearing that there is tax, and everybody kill you with tax, and you're afraid, right? The matter of taxation. Um, when they say you must file your taxes, my understanding at first, and bear with me, is I thought, Lord, when me file my taxes, me have to go pay this and pay that. And how does this taxation works?
Okay, so all right, so let's break it up. Now, there is not one straightforward taxation rule in all of Canada. Now,
Mm-hmm,
province is almost like its own little mini country. So each
mm-hmm,
province own taxation rules, finance, and stuff like that. Now, depending on the province that you're in, there will be like different rules and stuff like that. Now, primarily, when you file your taxes, right? When you file
mm-hmm,
your primarily, all you're doing really is you would have gotten something from the employer, right?
mm-hmm,
So if you're working in Canada this year, you get something from your employer next year. It's called a T4. You would use that to file your taxes. And what that show is what you have earned throughout the
mm-hmm,
year. Now, they would
mm-hmm,
have taxes for you, right? Sometimes you contribute and sometimes you get what is called tax credit. Now, tax credit, for example, in Alberta, but you have tax credit all over Canada, but
mm-hmm,
different types of tax. In Alberta, if you live, for example, a rural town in Alberta, you get what is called Northern Living Allowance, and that is when the government pays you $11 per day for to live in the northern part of Alberta, and then that amounts to tax credit. So that is the amount of taxes that you. So if they add that to it, for you, there's so many different tax credits, right? At the end of the day, your tax credits bring down the amount of tax that you have to pay. So what you actually paid, then they find out that you paid more than what you should have paid, and you get a tax return.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
That's the simplest way to put
mm-hmm,
that's the way to put it, right?
mm-hmm,
You get a tax return. Now, each province is different in terms of
mm-hmm. Okay. Hey, me say the government need to find you. You know, you need a job in government because we owe you promote Alberta. You need a job. You,
all in all, when you file your taxes, you have up to the 30th of April to file for the previous year. So, for example, 2023 taxes would you have up to the 30th of April 2024 to file it. Yeah.
okay. So
But
that
you
means
don't
you
have to,
can file it now.
yeah, you don't have to do it yourself. You have tons of companies that do it for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a fee. You just bring your documents to them and them do everything for
Okay.
you. Yeah,
And
so
what are some of those documents you need to have for newcomers? What are some of those documents you need to have, Damar?
I'm really careful not to overwhelm the newcomer because like you don't know what a T4 is as yet. Now the
Yeah.
T what you'll get from your employer, you have to get the 1st of February every year. Now that T4 tells you what you earn from that particular employer the year before. So for
Mm-hmm.
20, you have up to February 1st to get all those T4s. The company has to get that by the 1st of February. So if you're even no
Mm-hmm.
longer, they'll mail it to you also, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then say for you have done 5 jobs last year for 5 different, then you would have had 5 T4s. You take
Mm-hmm.
course, what else you need? If it is that you have, I don't want to complicate things, I make it too difficult, but you have different type of accounts that reduces the amount of tax that you pay. Like an RRSP, your registered retirement savings plan. Whatever you save in this retirement savings plan RRSP comes off your total tax income, right? So if you contribute to an RRSP, then you have five or T3 that shows you the amount that and then you'll take that as well with your T4s. If you pay your tuition, the college you for it, and then that will get back a percentage of it. so many different things, right? It's not as complicated as I'm making it out. It's just that you don't understand the terms yet, like the forms and stuff like that. But you will get all of these forms from school and from your workplace and bank, and then all you do, you'll just take it in, and that's it.
And they'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. Is there anything, Demar, that we have it's you consider to be important that we haven't touched on, but you think it's important that newcomers know they need to take advantage of did we leave out anything?
We didn't get into everything today, but it's not possible to get into everything in one sitting. So
Yeah.
we're doing a little bit more conversation in, of course. But
Yeah.
really, it's just I think we've covered the basics well enough. Like even taxation, I don't think it's something that you need to know to settle. I
Yeah.
think having the right accounts and the credit and stuff like that is important, but taxes is
Mhm.
something you can learn as you're here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's definitely other opportunities to talk about different things. I don't want to pour too much at once, sometimes information overload, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Definitely.
no problem. Again, guys, I know it we almost gone 2 hours, which no problem because you know what? Like I said, for me, when I was searching, I would spend hours
Yeah,
binging, right? I lived on your channel for starters. And then anywhere I found where I was getting substance, not
yeah,
people camouflaging, not people giving me bits and pieces and then telling me to go buy this, go buy that in order to get information, that kind of thing.
yeah.
So that's what we are about. And so because listen, somebody paid it forward for us and we're paying it forward for somebody else, and
Yeah.
somebody else will pay it forward for our children. We don't know how the thing will turn, but we
Yeah.
are just putting it out there. I mean, there's so many things we could be doing with our Friday evening, but here we are investing in people, with information.
But I
Uh,
got a text from Nat, so I'm probably figure running at 2 minutes because she's reminding
that
me to do something
that's
for
fine.
her.
That's fine.
So,
That's fine. Listen, I can't thank you enough. It's always great talking with you. Always so good. We're definitely doing this again for, excuse me, for next week.
let's,
Did I tell you that there was a storm outside? We're actually
yeah,
going through a snowstorm
yeah,
and stuff. So I'm in the basement, even though I'm not so cold still,
yeah,
but you have poured so much in. Thank you so much. Thanks to those who joined us. Those are who are on the Andersons. Those are on Uniquely Me. Those who are going to be seeing it after. Right? Like we said, guys, and I told you guys before that this year I'm not holding back. If a one person come on, I'm gonna run it because guess what? I saw a lady just before you go. I saw a lady the other day. She's now gone viral and her channel has grown. But she said what happened is that she put out one video, her own health and wellness journey. She just filmed it for her own purpose, put it out. 7 months later, this one video that the woman completely forgot about skyrocketed and took her viral. So we never know what
never.
this information will do. But thank you so much again, Demar. We're going to do this again because we want to dive into some other things. And of course, so you can always invite me over to your channel, my youth.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. It was a
No problem.
pleasure as usual, and always big up to your audience. And yeah, thank you for inviting me. And I look forward to many, 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 many more conversations.
Of course, of course. Awesome. Thank you, my friend. We will talk. Bye, guys. Have a good weekend.
A good weekend and stay warm. Stay warm.
Definitely. Bye bye. Oh my